Just wanted to hop on real quick for a quick announcement before we get into the second half of the video from my session at the Aria. This Wednesday I'm going to be playing at the OG Club in Oak Grove, Kentucky on a live stream. So go ahead and tune in. I'll put a link down below where you guys can check it out. I believe the stream starts at Wednesday around 7:30 in the evening Central Time, so feel free to check it out. I'm also going to be trying to make a vlog out of it if I play any notable hands. So wish me luck, and I will see you there. Let's get into the second half of my Aria session.
You're just bought into another dimension. A dimension not only of bad beats and busted draws, but of decisions so bizarre they defy logic. You've crossed into a land where min raises spell doom, and a four-way all-in with queen high makes perfect sense. You've stepped out of reality and into the absurd, the unpredictable, the unexplainable. You've just pulled up a seat to the low-stakes zone.
We're going to start off the second half of this Aria session with pocket eights under the gun. We raise it up to $12 and get called by the low jack directly to our left and go see a flop heads up. Flop of ace 7-4 with a couple of spades. I check. In hindsight, I probably should have let out considering the ace definitely hits my range. As played though, I check and he bets out for $12, which I pretty quickly call. I actually ran this through GTO Wizard, and it turns out that this is just a check fold for me in this position. I really don't have anything going on. All I have is a bluff catcher, and I'm probably going to have to face more heat on later streets. Queen of clubs on the turn doesn't really change anything. I check again and he continues for $20 more. Once again, he gives me a chance to get away from the hand, but I'm getting stubborn and I decide to call him one more time. I mean, I can beat 5-6, a couple of random spades, maybe. River's the ace of clubs, and I actually think this might be a good card for me. It reduces the chances he has an ace, and he could just have a busted draw of some sort, the 5-6 or a couple of random spades, which I'm beating. He continues for $35, which is just a pure value bet on his side. Once again, I probably could find a fold here, but I don't. I flip in the call. He shows me the ace deuce of spades, so he did have the flush draw, but he also had the ace. I pretty much played every street post-flop incorrectly, and the results definitely reflect that. About 45 minutes later, I'm in the low jack. There's a middle position limp ahead of me, and I look down at a couple of fours and decide to raise it up to $15. This hand could go either way. If I put in the overcall, I'm just trying to play a multi-way pot that I'm set mining with without committing a whole lot of money to. But as played, I'd like to try to raise it up. Maybe I can get it heads up and be a little more creative post-flop. The button cold calls my raise, and the middle position player comes along as well, so we're going to go three-handed. Flop is 8-5-4 rainbow. Finally hitting a set, maybe I can make some money off this for once. Middle position checks to me in flow, and I continue for $20. The button gets out of the way, but the middle position player calls, so I do have a customer. We're going to the turn heads up. Turn is the beautiful 5 of clubs pairing the board. Now I don't have to worry about any straight draws or any other nonsense they could be in there with. I pretty much have this hand locked up. To make things even better, the middle position player donks out for $75. I look at his stack and see he only has about 200 left behind. In the moment, I figured he was not going to fold after betting out for the 75, so I just decided to jam him all in. This was a mistake. I should have just flatted this bet, setting up a nice sized river jam, and if he's bluffing, then I give him a chance to continue to bluff. As played, my jam makes him fold pretty quickly, and I win the absolute minimum when I have a hammerlock on the hand. Even when I'm making hands, I'm playing them poorly and winning the absolute minimum.
You are trying way too hard.
Trying's the best part.
Nothing of note happens for the next hour. I was actually away from the table and I came back into the small blind position. I decided to buy the button, so I post both blinds. The guy to my immediate left, who normally would have been the big blind, opens for $10 and it folds all the way back around to me, and I look down at king jack offsuit. I probably should have folded this pre-flop. Most of the charts I have say that this is not a call, but I was bored. I hadn't played a hand in a while and it's only $10, so you know, what the hell. Flop is jack 6 deuce with a couple of hearts, so I flop top pair, good kicker. I think I'm in decent shape. I check and flow to him and he continues for $12 and I pretty quickly call. As this hand progresses, you'll kind of see the problem with playing hands like this from out of position. I really don't get to set the price and maximize the value when I flop a good hand. I'm pretty much always playing defensively, even if I have what I feel like is the best. Turn is the 3 of clubs, and that really doesn't change much. It does bring in a backdoor flush draw and some gut shots, but I really don't think he's in there with much of the gut shot type of hands, seeing he raised from under the gun. I check again and he continues for $22. I'm not going anywhere yet, so I call and we're going to go to a river. The river pairs the 6, so I think I'm good. I'm still going to go into a check call shell though, and again, this just shows why you don't make a lot of money when you're playing from out of position. I check, he gives up with whatever he had and checks behind, maybe has some showdown value under the jacks, or maybe just an ace high type hand. I show my king jack and he mucks and I win a modest pot of $44. Results aside, I probably shouldn't have even been in there with this type of mess. I'm either going to win a small pot or lose a big one. I mean, like, what's my plan if he bets 65 on the river? He's obviously representing something bigger than the jacks, and I mean, what can I do? So yeah, just throw these hands away. That's the lesson I need to take away from this. About an orbit later, I'm in the cutoff and I look down at ace king of clubs. Middle position limps in ahead of me and I'm going to bump it up to $15. Big blind gives me a call and the middle position comes along as well, so we're taking it 3 ways. Ace Jack 9 rainbow. No clubs, but I like the flop regardless. Big blind actually checked dark before the flop came down. Middle position checks in flow. I noticed she had been pretty passive while I'd been playing with her, so it really wasn't too much to worry about there. I continue for $15 and I probably should have gone a little bit more. Any card that's bigger than an 8 really doesn't help my hand a whole heck of a lot and can slow down the action or possibly even counterfeit me. As played, my $15 gets called in both spots, so I haven't gotten rid of anybody yet, and we're going to go to a turn. Turn is a 5 of diamonds, so that's a pretty safe card as far as I'm concerned. Backdoor diamonds do start coming in, but I'm not going to worry about that quite yet. Big blind and middle position both checked me again, and I really need to start putting the hammer down on this hand. I continue for $55, which is a little bit more than half pot. The big blind check raises me to 129, and the middle position player gets out of the way. I mean, if I'm beat, but I just can't fold for that amount. I flip in the call, the jack pairs the river, and he shows ace king. I can't beat it, but I don't lose to it. I roll over my hand and we split up the money, and I win $15. I guess it beats losing. An orbit later and I'm on the button. I have ace king again, but this time it's the offsuit variety. Not quite as pretty, but you know, I'll take it. The passive woman in the middle seat actually opens to $12. This is the first time I had seen her raise pre-flop the entire time I'd been playing with her, so I have to be aware that she might have a good hand. The cutoff calls a 12 and I put in the squeeze to $55. I'd like to get this heads up in position and we can figure out if we're good after the flop. She calls the 55, cutoff gets out of the way, so far so good. Flop is queen 10-4 with a couple of diamonds. I've got a gutter to Broadway, a backdoor nut flush draw, a couple of overcards. Not the best flop in the world, but definitely worth continuing. She checks to me, and I put in a pretty standard c-bet. In hindsight, I don't know if this is a c-bet here. I don't think I have much fold equity against her range in this particular board. She's either flopped a set, she's got an overpair, maybe I can get pocket jacks to fold, but I don't know. Looking back at it, I think I'm kind of juicing her pot up for her. She calls the 65 and we're going to go to a turn. Turns the 8 of spades and she checks and I check behind. Kind of the same theory as the flop. I just don't see much fold equity, so there's no point in putting the money in there. I'm kind of hoping I can hit an ace or a king to maybe give me some showdown value, or I could hit a jack. And that's exactly what I do.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Now I'm hoping she has a set of some sort. She leads out for $100 pretty quickly. It doesn't really seem like the jack affected her too much, so I'm thinking she either had a set of queens or a set of tens. There's an off chance she has the same hand as me, but, you know, whatever. We're just going to chop if that's happening anyways. I see she's got about 250 left behind, and I put her all in. She snap calls and chose pocket jacks. I guess that jack was the perfect card for me, because if an ace or a king rolled off, I'm probably just going to check behind and take my showdown value. So definitely the best card in the deck for me. I pull down the biggest pot of the night, and the session is really starting to look like it might go my way.
This man is about to die. In a few moments now, he will be killed.
About 15 minutes later, and I'm still savoring the flavor of that rivered Broadway and counting all my money. Life is good. The low jack came back from missing a few hands and posted $4. Comes around to me in the hijack, and I look down at 5-4 suited. I raise it up to 20. I'd like to take this hand in position and heads up if possible. I get exactly what I want when the cutoff, the small blind, and the big blind all call me, so we're going 4 ways to a flop. Flop is 7-6-3 with 2 hearts, so I flop the absolute world.
You're beautiful.
Got the stone cold nuts, a gut shot straight flush draw, and a multi-way pot. Life could not get much better than this. Both the blinds check to me and I continue for $30. In theory, I probably should have bet a little bit more because this sort of flop really doesn't hit my range, but I don't really mind getting too much action. There's only the flush draw out there, and he only has 6 outs against me, so I like my chances. Cutoff calls a 30 and the small blind gets out of the way before the big blind check raises me to 120. I think about this for quite a while. I'm trying to figure out how I can trap the cutoff into the pot, and then as long as a fairly safe card comes off on the turn, I can just start blasting. All three of us are over $500 effective, so there's a lot of money to be playing for. I decide to get a little trappy and just call the 120. Surprisingly, the cutoff back raises me and jams all in for $553, and the big blind quickly jams behind him for $761. Can't get much better than this. I snap calls, slam my cards over, and announce I got the nuts. We're playing a $2,100 pot, and all I have to do is hold. The cutoff shows the ace-king of hearts, so he's drawing to the 6 outs. The big blind doesn't show right away, but I'm guessing he probably has a set of some sort. I'm about 45% to win against those two types of hands in a 3-way pot. God, just hold one time. The turn is clean with a jack of spades, just one more card to go. The river is the 3 of clubs. In the moment, I was so focused on the hearts, I forgot about the board pairing, and I actually clapped my hands, and then a split second later, I realized that I am not winning this pot. The big blind shows pocket 7s for 7s full of 3s, and he takes down the whole damn thing. $2,100 going the other way. This hand just broke my spirit. I had not been doing well in Vegas up until this point, and I really felt like this session could be a turning point for me. But it wasn't meant to be. As I like to say, if you want to run with the big dogs, sometimes you gotta shit with them too.
So you get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!
After that thoroughly traumatizing experience of flopping a straight and losing a monster, I decided to walk around for 15 or 20 minutes just to clear my head and try not to go on tilt. I come back to the table, and about 45 minutes after losing with that straight, I look down at ace-king for what seems like about the 15th time today. I raise it up to $12, and the hijack 3-bets me to $35. We had been tangling a lot of pots. He was a young Eastern European type. He just seemed like he knew his way around a deck of cards. I don't think he was really making plays at me. He was just playing his hands as he should in position. I'm not going to take that kind of gruff from a Euro reg, so I 4-bet him to 125. He thinks for quite a while before putting in the call, and we're going to see a flop. Ace, king, queen with a couple of clubs. About as nice a flop as I could ask for with ace, king. It'd be really nice if he was in there with ace, queen, or king, queen suited. I might be able to get a nice pot and maybe win a little bit of money back. I continue for $65 since this is a very dynamic flop for our ranges. He shows me pocket 10s and folds. Yeah, probably not the best flop for him. I guess it's a good thing I 4-bet him pre-flop, so I do take down a nice pot. Maybe we can come back from this train wreck after all. An orbit later, and the Euro reg and I are going to tangle again. I open up the cutoff with the ace 10 of clubs to $12. He calls me, and the small blind comes along as well. Flop is queen 6-4 with a couple of clubs, so it gives me a nut flush draw, an overcard, backdoor Broadway draw. Pretty decent flop to continue with, so I keep up the pressure and add $20 more to the pot. My European friend isn't going to go anywhere, but the small blind's seen enough and he gets out of the way. Turn is the 3 of diamonds, which is an absolute brick. I'd really like to take this pot down without having to hit a card, so I put a 2/3 pot size wager into the middle for $50. He calls again, so I'm thinking he might be on some sort of draw along with me. I feel like if he had a set or something along those lines, he would probably be putting in a raise somewhere along the way. He doesn't really seem like a trapping kind of player. The river is the jack of spades, so I miss everything. It doesn't really bring in any draws though, so I'm figuring he might be capped at a 1-pair type of hand. If he's got ace king or king queen, he's probably going to be in a tough spot if I make a big bet. These are the types of bluffs I've been trying to find a lot lately. The big over pot sized bet on the end. It really puts a lot of pressure on a 1-pair type of hand, and that's exactly what I need to do when I miss everything. I bet $220 into a $178 pot. He thinks for maybe 5 to 10 seconds before jamming for $560. I Hollywood for quite a while, humming and hawing.
And the Oscar goes to...
There's a small part of me that wants to call just because I'm tilted at this point. Maybe he's got a busted flush draw like I do so I can beat him. I don't know. But I just feel like there's just no way he's ever bluffing. He can't expect me to fold after I bet $220 and he goes all in for only $340 more. This hand is just pure value, pure and simple. He either backed into it with queen jack or he flopped a set. I want him to think that I have quite a tough decision to make because I don't want him to just run over me. So I Hollywood for quite a while before I finally throw my cards into the muck. The very next hand, the low jack opens up to $12, and I look down at the jack 10 of diamonds in the hijack and 3-bet to $35. My European buddy is so busy stacking up my old chips that he doesn't bother getting involved with this pot, and so it's just me and the low jack going heads up to a flop. 9-8-3 with a couple of spades gives me an open-ender and a couple of overcards. Normally this is a sign of weakness, and I showed some good strength by 3-betting him pre-flop, so I'm going to keep up the story that I've got a monster hand and I 3-bet him to 120. I could either take this pot down right here with this raise. Even if he calls me, I'm probably going to get a free card on the turn, which I can check or bet depending on how I like it. He does end up making the call, so I guess plan B of hitting a card is what I'm going to have to do. Turn is the 5 of clubs, bringing a second flush draw, but really not helping me too much. He checks and I check behind. I definitely want to take this free card after he called my raise on the flop. The river is the jack of hearts, so this does give me some showdown value against busted flush draws, and if he had ace-9 or something like that, I got there against him as well. He checks again, I check again, happy to take my showdown value. I show my jack and I'm good. He actually had the king-10 of spades, so he had a better hand than me, he had a better overcard, and he had the flush draw, which missed. I guess I'm allowed to hit river cards every now and again as well. For the last hand of this session, I pick up pocket sixes on the button. I've been here all day, it has not gone my way, and I think I'm just about ready to go. There's a wild and crazy guy that's waiting for a 5-10 game sitting in the 1 seat. He's just been splashing around, bullying people, getting caught bluffing, pretty much just shoveling boatloads of money into the pot, regardless of what his cards are. Maybe this guy can double me up. I raise the button to $12 and the small blind calls before the big blind in the 1 seat makes it $60 to go. I'm not going anywhere with the pocket pair, so I call him. The small blind gets out of the way and we see a flop heads up. Ace-Ace-10 with a couple of spades. Not the best hand in the world for me, but if he doesn't have an ace, I think I'm probably in good shape here. He continues really small for $23, and obviously I can't go anywhere for that kind of price. I call him and we're going to go see a turn. 5 of clubs is close to my hand, but not quite. This time he bets $111. I've only got $277 left on my stack, so if I'm going to make a move against this guy, now is the time to do it. I want to put in the bet now and clean up any equity he might have with overcards. I might even be able to get an overpair bigger than my sixes to fold. Pretty much the only hand that's going to call me is the ace. The way he's been playing, the odds of him having that are pretty slim. I jam for my last $277. He quickly calls and I ask him, "Do you have the ace?" And he goes, "I got ace-king." And then he rivers a king just to rub it in my face. I lose my last $360. I'm down to the felt. It's been a long day and I've had enough. Down $700 for the session, and I've had just about as much fun as one person can have in a day in Vegas. That's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching it more than I enjoyed going through it. The trip to Vegas was not successful for me. I busted about $400 or $500 off the money in the monster stack. Made it into day 2, but you know, it's hard to win a tournament, and I got pocket jacks and panicked. That's the short version of a long story. As far as cash went, I just could not get anything going except for one session at Caesars and 2 really good ones at the Venetian. I pretty much lost everything I touched. Overall for the trip, down a little over $2,900. First time I've lost in Vegas in 5 years. To be honest with you, I don't know how most people just go to Vegas, lose, and accept that as the normal course of action. I don't like that at all. So yeah, I'm going to try to do better next time I go. Took 2 weeks off after the trip to Vegas. Just wanted to regroup, kind of clear my head. Recorded a session last night. That'll be the next vlog you guys will see next week coming up at the barrel. Kind of turned things around for me a little bit. I feel like I played well. I kept my head on a swivel and just going to try to start off the second half of the year a little better than the first half. As far as my $100K, $100 an hour challenge is going, right now I'm averaging $29 an hour. So not quite going to get there for the year, I don't think. I'd like to be able to bring that back up to 60. I've had 2 really bad losing streaks here during the first half of the year. So we're going to see if we can turn it around, kind of get back to basics for the second half of the year. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos and kind of just bombarding myself with information and trying different techniques. I know what works in my 1-2 and 1-3 games, and I think I'm just going to stick with that going forward. So yeah, we're going to see how it goes, and wish me luck, and we'll see you again in the next video. Thanks for watching.